You are about to learn a real estate investing technique that blows being a landlord away. It'll put more money into your pocket up front, it'll minimize your rehab budget, and it will virtually eliminate maintenance calls. Hi, my name is Mitch Stephen. I'm author of the book My Life in 1,000 Houses. You see, back in 1996, after countless failed businesses, including a parking lot striping business, a bar, a contracting business, I went to copier sales, I started window tinting, a lawn maintenance business. I don't know, the list goes on and on and on. I stepped out into the real estate investing game and almost went bankrupt on my first deal. So I decided I had to get some help. I started reading some books and I even went to some expensive seminars, and each one was trying to tell me the same thing. They were trying to tell me that the way to get rich in real estate was to buy rental properties. But they were leaving out a lot of things that I discovered were not good about this business. They were leaving out how unpassive this business really was and all the headaches that really came with this job of being a landlord. Let's face it, they were minimizing these large rehab budgets that I'd have to do. They weren't talking to me about all the late payments and what it was going to take to chase these payments down. They weren't talking to me about late night maintenance calls or about tenants inside my house tearing my house up. They talked a whole bunch about the money that I was going to make, but they didn't talk about my liabilities. And when I'm talking about the expenses that I or you would have to pay for if you're a landlord, it's virtually everything that could go wrong you have to pay for. The AC, a water heater, roof leaks, locks, windows, plumbing, electrical, paint, carpet, countertops, stoves, refrigerators, dishwashers, washers and dryers. You name it. If it breaks, you, as the landlord, get to pull out your checkbook and write a check to fix it. And that, to me, just wasn't any fun, because it didn't take long for me to figure out. If one air conditioner unit went out, it could easily cost me a year's worth of cash flow. And while I was figuring it out, I built up my rental house inventory up to about 25 houses. So, and I did that in about 2 years. And on the average, I was supposed to collect $300 from 25 houses each month. So if you do 25 houses times 300, I was supposed to collect $7,500 a month, less the cost of maintenance. Well, guess how much I was collecting? Yeah, by the time I paid the expenses after collecting this $7,500, if I could collect it, I was making nothing. I mean, literally, I was down to zero at the bottom line. I think I even lost money. I was doing a great job, though, at actually making sure that the AC man and the plumber and the electrician and the carpet man had a wonderful income, because I was what money was coming in, I was giving it to those guys. The other thing was the tenants would always want their deposits back, and so I either had to give that deposit back or the deposit went into repairs. So I was collecting a measly $750 deposit on each property. So let me ask you something. How long do you think $750 lasts when you're doing repairs on a house that a tenant has just moved out of? If you said something like 1.5 seconds, you're really close, because it goes in a heartbeat. You can't hardly even clean the carpet for $750, much less replace it. And believe me, if you have carpet in a rent house, you're going to have to replace it when your renters move out 8 out of 10 times. And then the other thing they talked about in these seminars was this equity that I had. If you had 20% or 25% equity in a $100,000 house, that's $20,000 to $25,000 that you're worth. It's supposed to go to the bottom line of your net worth. What I learned was, if I really wanted to sell that $100,000 house and pay back the $75,000 that I owed so that I could clear the $20,000 to $25,000 that they told me was my equity, well, by the time I paid the realtor and the closing costs and the lender required repairs, I didn't make $20,000 or $20,000. I was lucky. I was lucky if I was making half of that, which all of a sudden just isn't worth it. I mean, everyone around me is making as much money as I am, or taking my money, and I have all this risk in this house. I have a $75,000 risk in this house, and the realtor's making as much money off of selling the house as I'm making, and they didn't risk anything. So I was becoming very, very, very disappointed in this business called landlording and collecting rent. So the next thing I wanted to do was I just wanted to sell. And I tried to sell out, but nobody in the neighborhoods where I was able to afford to buy these rent houses could qualify for a new loan. So now I'm getting really worried. It's like, am I going to be stuck with all these nagging, griping, very undependable tenants? Right before I walked out, I made this decision to go ahead and hire a professional with the last bit of money I had. And I hired this professional mentor, and get this, to help me quit and still save my good credit and my reputation. And I thank God for that accidental decision on my part, because that decision changed my life forever. And because I hired the right mentor at the right time and he gave me the right advice, I stayed in a career that now has lasted well over a decade and a half. And it's persisted through good economic times and through the bad economic times. So what did my mentor say to me? I said, I want out of this business. How do I get out of this business? He says, well, this is what you're going to do. You're going to sell these houses with owner financing. I said, oh yeah, well, what's owner financing? He says, well, you're going to take a decent down payment. You're going to agree to monthly terms. And then you're going to collect payments for the property just like you were the bank. So I thought that's pretty cool. Except I wasn't sure I believed this could be done. And then my mentor said, instead of collecting a $750 deposit, which isn't even yours, I want you to go out and collect $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 as a down payment and give the people the right to own the property by offering to let them make payments on the balance that they owe you. And so I was thinking probably what you're thinking right now, like, right, these people can't make $750 payment and they can't, come up with a $750 deposit half the time, and you want me to go out here and get $3,000 and $5,000 and $10,000. This kind of sounds like a pipe dream to me. And I decided I didn't have any choices, so I went out to do it. And guess what happened? I got those down payments. I was a non-believer, and I was still able to collect about $3,000 down on each of my 25 houses. So let's do the math. 25 houses times $3,000 equals $75,000. I had $75,000 in the bank within 4 months, and that was my money. It wasn't a deposit, it was my money. The other thing that just thrilled me to death was, you remember that $7,500 per month spread I was supposed to make on paper when I was a landlord collecting rent? Well, now that $7,500, it was coming in. And I was able to keep all that $7,500 because I didn't own the house anymore. If the air conditioner broke, it wasn't my house. It wasn't even my air conditioner. I didn't even have the legal right to go work on it. I went from a disgruntled, broke landlord to a guy with $75,000 in the bank and collecting $90,000 per year positive cash flow. Owner financing changed my life, and it can change your life too. All you got to do is just unwind how you think about real estate, and let me wind you up a different way. So here are the principles that you have to stick with, okay? You have to collect large down payments instead of wimpy deposits. You have to base your payments on the local rents. In short, you have to believe that a person who's paying $750 to rent would rather pay $750 to own. And if you believe that, then this business is going to work for you. You also got to remember that if the buyer defaults, you get to keep their down payment. So that down payment's kind of the glue that holds everything together, because people just don't walk away from $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 all that easier. And of course, the more that you collect up front, the stronger your deal is. Again, you're no longer the landlord. So if the toilet breaks or the roof leaks, it's not your problem. It is no longer your house. Automatically, just by virtue of that statement, you're going to stop taking unpleasant phone calls. And get this, you're going to get to sit back and watch people fix up your collateral instead of watching tenants tear down your house. Did you get that? You're going to get to sit back and watch these occupants fix up your collateral, improve your collateral, instead of watching your tenants tear down your house. You basically get to keep the cash flow and skip the hassles of being a landlord. And it's just that simple. And that's why I like the business. It's a great business. It works very well in good times, but let me tell you something else. I've been through 2 down cycles. It booms in the bad times. I'm in shock there's any landlords left. I don't know why anybody would want to be a landlord. I don't see the advantage of renting houses at all, especially in some areas. There would be a lot less landlords if people knew the art of owner financing. So I'm here to introduce you to that art and to show you how it works. I've done over 1,200 deals. I have well over 10,000 hours in the field. I have made countless numbers of mistakes. And I've shared my techniques with hundreds of people, and I've helped change their lives. And I've helped them quit their jobs, and I've helped them build a retirement worth having. Let me go over here and show you some examples. Here's a HUD from one of my students who received $34,000 as a down payment on his first owner finance deal. $34,000. How many of you landlords out there have gotten a $34,000 non-refundable deposit for one of your rent houses lately? So imagine how your life might change if you could harness the power of this technique and start building cash flow with little to none of your own money. And then the other thing I want you to think of is, what is your freedom number? How many houses do you need at $300 or $400 positive per month to become financially independent, where you can walk away from that job that you hate? Not everybody hates their job, but still, that's, even if people love their job, there's a really nice aspect to being free and being able to choose exactly what you do and when you do and what vacation you go on and how long you stay and just be in control of your own destiny. I'd like to invite you to view a special presentation on the basics of owner financing, where I'll include some detailed case studies of actual deals that I've done. And in the presentation, I'm going to open up my books and I'm going to show you all the numbers. So I'll show you what kind of down payments I received. I'll show you how I picked up $2,000 and put it in my pocket every single time I bought a house. I'm going to show you the purchase prices and the sales prices, and I'm going to show you a couple of deals where I use this theory where I don't do any rehab at all. I don't do anything, and I sell the house owner financed, and I watch the new owner fix up the property. I'm going to show you how to create profitable notes, and I'm going to give you examples of the terms and the payments and the interest rates and everything you need so you can see how these deals fit together. And then I'm even going to show you some deals where I actually created the note and then I sold the note for cash with little to no discount. If you register now for the presentation, I'm gonna mail you a paperback copy of my autobiography, My Life in 1,000 Houses: Failing Forward to Financial Freedom. And this book is an autobiographical account of my struggles as a young entrepreneur, and it's basically what happens after the Get Rich seminar. So you go to these seminars, they tell you all this great stuff that's going to happen to you, and then you go home and you start using their techniques, and then this is what really happened, and some of the struggles I went through, and how I learned to adjust and adapt and overcome. So this book, My Life in 1,000 Houses, retails for about $19 on Amazon, and that doesn't include the shipping. So with the shipping, it's, I don't know, around $21.80 maybe. And realize that people have paid me hundreds of dollars for information that's in this presentation that you're going to get, and the special price if you register now is $7, and this is laughable. I actually have to kind of laugh at this because $7. I mean, I'm giving you a book for $19 if you'll sign up and pay me $7. So this is kind of a no-brainer. And all you have to do is you scroll down here and click on the registration button just under this video, and we'll ask you for a few details. So give us these details so we can get your bonuses out to you. And I really want you to take advantage of this offer and watch this owner financing presentation and receive your bonus today for only $7. So please act now, and please don't close your browser because you might lose this opportunity. I don't know if you can get it back or not if you close it out. Again, scroll down and click on the registration button and join me in this owner finance presentation. Receive your bonus, and let's start this new exciting chapter of your life right away. And I can't wait to talk to you about it. Until we talk again, this is Mitch. Bye now.